Howdy. I am accidentally starting late here, and I'm going to have to go back and redo a drawing because it didn't, my camera was not going when I thought it was going. So, fun start for me. I'm actually in a bit of a time crunch today. You know, it's the holidays. I got stuff to do. I don't know about you, but I am definitely going to dive right in now that I am redoing what I already did. All right. Thank you for joining me. If you are here, please do press like and subscribe. Help me get out the information that I am doing a study here, live drawing to try and show whether or not tarot can predict what card will appear in a poker hand. Awesome deck. Please show us one card that will be in play in the first poker hand on the first poker video that comes up on YouTube when we search for Koray Aldemir poker hands. Please show us one card that will be in play, the first poker hand on the first poker video that comes up on YouTube when I search for Koray Aldemir poker hands. Please show us. Please show us the card. All right, 4 of assistance. Let's do the search. I was laughing just there because I don't do pop-ups, cards that pop out of the deck while shuffling. In this particular study, and yet I keep having the hands just pop out over and over and over and over. So it's like the third time today that it's tried to pop out on me. As I said, I already tried to start this video and it wasn't working. So we have loyalty and empowerment versus vapid achievement and betrayal. So vapid achievement is an achievement which disappears, such as the better starting hand. And betrayal, well, that should be pretty obvious. Look at that. Unexpected good news. The little things like the smaller starting hand and persistence. So is Holmes going to yeah, he's small blind. Is he going to persist with a small bet? Looks like it. And be more unexpected good news for Aldemir, having just flopped 2 pair. Or, there was alternative definitions, but since he's already lived up to that one. If you're just joining me, we have drawn the 4 of clubs, and we are looking for it to show up in this poker hand for purposes of my live drawing experiment. And I'm just giving you a little bit of extra info on what these cards mean according to tarot playing cards, which have been used since playing cards and tarot cards were invented. Both were actually first invented for playing games. Both tarot cards and playing cards were first used for playing games, and both transitioned into being used for tarot around the same time. We don't have precise information about exactly, who was the first person to do that and when, where, why. So, interestingly enough, Aldemir has gone for a somewhat small raise of another 13 million. Holmes bet 6 million. He more or less tripled it to 19 million, little more than tripled it. So is that quote unquote little raise enough to show Holmes that he's not going to be empowered by remaining loyal to this hand? Only his opponent will likely be empowered by that. So but he decides to persist when the Seven of Persistence and unexpected good news is there. And there we have the King of Judgment, which will make it much harder for Holmes not to persist and would be extremely unexpected good news for Koray, who just flopped 2 pair and is now up to an 82% chance to win. But still, no sign of the 4 of clubs, which is the card that I drew when I asked the deck what card will show up. So let's see if we can just skip forward a little bit, because I do think this takes a long time. I can't remember if this is the last hand that I was standing right there for, but I was there for this final table at the final moments when Koray won. I, however, was rooting for George Holmes because I'm the type of girl who really loves the underdog. I'm an underdog, especially right now in life. Definitely have had some advantages, but you never know. All right, so they're still in it. And do we finally get to see the other card? Is it the 4? There's no all-in yet. And coincidentally, none of the cards yet that I say coincide with an all-in. That was the 9 of Progress on the river, not the 4 of Clubs that we were looking for. And so what kind of progress is going to happen here? I think it was progressing towards Koray's win. Was this the very final hand that I was there for? I'm showing how wonderful my memory is right now with this excellent commentary. Yep. This is where he put him to the test. Holmes tried to feign that he had the, better 2 pair or had gotten the straight. But indeed, his decision to be loyal to his hand empowered Aldemir, because he had betrayed him and had his achievement was not empty, but George Holmes's was. So, but I do think it took him a long time to decide because, there were several hands that could have beaten his, and he might have been betraying himself and had the empty achievement himself. So, you never know. It's an intuition thing, in my opinion, even though I do believe in tarot, and I do think that this experiment will come out statistically significant in the end. It was coming along statistically significant. We're currently a little bit under what is considered statistically significant, but far above what probability would expect to occur. So let's go ahead and do drawing number 2 for today. Awesome deck. Please show us one card that will be in play in the first poker hand on the first poker video that comes up on YouTube when I search for Jason Mercier poker hands. Please show us one card that will be in play in the first poker hand on the first poker video that comes up on YouTube when I search for Jason Mercier poker hands. Please show us the card. Okay, Queen of Intuition. Interesting, since I was just saying, I think intuition is the key to knowing exactly what the message is. Even though I am trying to use this scientific method to show that you can, in a very objective, non-intuition way, show that there is meaning and that there's some correlation, I suppose, would be the best way to describe. So Oh, here is an old one for us. He has empowerment and desire. And I feel like I saw this hand the other day, but that doesn't rule it out. I do use, no, I did not see this hand the other day. I do use different names every day to try and get different hands. But okay, let's pause for a second. Empowerment and desire. And this is the spades are a earth card. Every spade, heart, diamond, club, they each have a correlation to one of the elements, and these are earth energy, which if you've ever tried to grow a plant and aren't very good at it like me, you know that earth energy, getting things to grow, is very difficult. So that's the type of desire that that card implies. And over here we have that vapid achievement card again, and triumph. So she only has a 10% chance to win right now, and logic, of course, says she's not going to win. But her cards do imply that it could change, especially because he, with the better hand, has flopped top pair on the flop. I still don't know, though. This is decisiveness, obsession, and panic, as in logical reason to panic, but don't. So they do agree with the idea that she might erase his achievement, but my intuition, which is really not related to this scenario, does not want to say that. To make long story short, which is kind of funny. There's the unavoidable barrier. She now has one pair, so she's checked. It's probably good. You want to be the barrier or face the barrier. She's facing a small barrier, so does she want to continue and attempt to triumph? Probably. She should have a logical reason to panic, but she is not. And, well, there is the imbalance card. So I suppose my unrelated intuition was correct there at the beginning. Logic was correct that she had not achieved squat, as logic implied. She did get something, but it was an empty achievement because it was a smaller pair in the first place, and now she's ended up with a smaller two pair. So, as it says, obsession, and yeah, I'm not feeling eloquent today, so I'm gonna move along and say we did not find the card we were looking for again, but we're gonna log that in and do another drawing. So if you're just joining, thank you so much for being here. We are drawing cards from the Awesome deck, asking it to show us what card will appear in the poker hand. And, you know, that happens at least twice as often as it would when you are just pulling cards randomly and assuming that it will mathematically show up a certain amount of time in that number of cards that are in play in the hand. If it happens twice as often as that or more, then it is considered statistically significant. So we are on the border of statistical significance at the moment, and we shall continue drawing. Awesome deck, please show us one card that will be in play in the first poker hand on the first poker video. Comes up on YouTube when we search for Jean-Noel Thorel poker hands. Excuse me, can't read my own handwriting over there. Please show us one card that will be in play in the first poker hand on the first poker video that comes up on YouTube when we search for Jean-Noel Thorel poker hands. Please show us the card. All right, confusion, uncertainty, there are two sides to every coin. There are two sides to every tarot message also, in my opinion. And this is a sign that you might be looking at the wrong one. So let's see what happens. Okay, first poker video down here. Sorry about the commercials, people. Ugh. I wish I could get rid of all of them, but I can't afford to if there is a way. Anyways, so waiting for the first poker hand, number 5. Oh, it seems like I laugh and say it seems like the time that the Jack of Confusion would show up, because I seem to always catch the poker hands where Phil is confused and or angry. I mean, or I guess those are the ones they prefer to show. Online could be another way to look at it. But he has the 8 of relief and the 8 of healing, as in karmic healing. So if you happen to know what's happened in previous hands and who deserves the karma a bit more, then you might know who's going to win this little coin flip situation. So we have the Queen of Assertiveness and the 10, Exciting Challenge. And Levy has flopped the open-ended straight draw. And of course, he would need one of the 8s or a king in order to get his straight. But we have good luck, prosperity, charm, and the 8 of triumph, giving him that straight. And of course, Helmuth is now thinking he got something great with his trips, but he's going to be looking for relief and maybe looking to get some karma back in a future hand because he just lost it this one. So 2 of potential on the river implies that someone who felt a lot of potential no longer has the same amount of potential, but he certainly is throwing some chips out there to test how much potential his hand has. But it kind of matches the mood of this card. There are 2 sides to every coin, and those trips are not so great, which is why Levy feels his potential and has raised. I think he knows that Helmuth, there's a good chance he's going to go ahead and make that call and pay him off. Ta-da! So let's just go ahead and like I said, I always see the ones where he's confused and angry and confused, angry. So we will put a no, 2 players in the hand. Whoops. But we're going to say matched the mood. Jack of diamonds equals Phil. Confused. Angry. That doesn't, count for the straight statistical test that we were doing, but I like to look at things from a more broad sociological perspective as well. So I just take those notes for later in case I want to reevaluate later and need to go back to moments like that. So I got 2 more hands for today. Let's do it. Awesome deck. Please show us 1 card that will be in play in the first poker hand on the first poker video that comes up on YouTube when I search for Byron Kaverman. Excuse me. When I search for Byron Kaverman poker hands. Please show us 1 card that will be in play in the first poker hand on the first poker video comes up on YouTube when I search for Byron Kaverman poker hands. Please show us the card. Ace of Spades. The end and a new beginning. Big change. Something complete turnaround kind of situation. One of three cards that I believe may coincide more frequently with all-in hands than other cards in the deck. Also said to be some of the least lucky cards in the deck, but I believe they coincide more with changing the odds, or a big change in chips, big change in direction, etc. So, King of Judgment, King of Diplomacy, versus the King of Confidence and the King of Duplicity. Not the greatest hand that you want there. And Byron, who we just ran the search for, I guess is going to play the 8 of Healing and the 4 of Charity. If you are feeling very intuitively strong about that, it could be a good one. Someone might have some charity for you that brings some money back to you that you gave them previously. So, open-ended straight draw just flopped by Byron with the 5 of Imbalance, 3 of Deceit, 2, the Little Things, all of which imply that someone played with a small hand and is now imbalanced, in an imbalanced manner, taking over. Yes, I am meaning the tarot cards to the person who's asking the question. I'm giving you the meaning as I would describe it according to the way that I've written it on the cards in my deck, and everything that I know and feel about the cards when I play. So, ooh. That was the 6 of Prosperity on the turn, which made him the straight, and then the 7 of Overconfidence, again implying that someone got overconfident in their strong hand. But for the purposes of my test, sadly, again, we have not found the card we are looking for. We are on a not so great streak for the ability to, I'm about to sneeze, excuse me in advance if I do. We're on a not great streak for finding the card we were looking for. We got one yesterday, but that's not going to lead to, it's going to keep us a little bit under statistical significance. Woo! Even if we get one more. I dropped that one today. But let's do the final drawing. Let's do it. Awesome deck. Please show us one card that will be in play in the first poker hand on the first poker video that comes up on YouTube when I search for Sam Trickett poker hands. Please show us one card that will be in play in the first poker hand on the first poker video comes up on YouTube when I search for Sam Trickett poker hands. Please show us the card. All right, Queen of Assertiveness. So to try and continue answering that question that I saw on my screen, they asked if what I was discussing is the tarot meaning of the playing cards that I am pointing to. And yes, it is indeed the tarot meaning of those cards. I'm trying to show you, just as an extra commentary on top of running this science experiment, I may be on a streak of not having the card that I drew appear. However, if you're watching and seeing this commentary, we're going to get it this time. Oh, no, that's actually, I can't tell now if it's a spade or a club. It's a little bit fuzzy. We will find out in a second. I think it's a club. Anyhow, by giving you the commentary of everything that is happening in the hand, I think you can see that the meanings of the cards do correlate, even when the card that I drew doesn't necessarily show up in play, though it has shown up this time. So, looks like we have the Ace of Refuge and Queen of Empowerment, and King of Diplomacy and Queen of Assertiveness. So, I'm not so sure that this was a great all-in, and not just because, logically speaking, mathematically speaking, he is dominated, because it's Ace-Queen versus King-Queen. And the flop confirms this. Pomposity, serendipity, imbalance, loyalty. He got a bit pompous about the fact that he had King-Queen. Or sorry, I guess not. He got pompous, maybe, about the fact that he had Ace-Queen. And now he has lost with the clean slate on the river. That's an all-in card in my study. So, quick little commentary. We did get one of them today, and had two people in that hand. Now let's just scroll down and see where we stand at our totals. So 17.5% of the time you can expect a randomly drawn card to show up in a two-handed hand of Texas Hold'em when there are 9 cards in play. 17.5% of the time the card that you drew will just be one of those 9 cards. So that means with the number of hands that I am going, we want to get at least 29% of the time to be statistically significant, and we're currently at 25.33% of the time. So went down yet another 1.5%, I think, today. So we're going to need a run of yeses to get some statistical significance again. Otherwise, perhaps this experiment will prove that we can't predict the card that is in play. However, be careful with that word prediction. I'm not predicting what card is in play in the sense that I'm telling you how to make a future happen. As you can see, we're searching things that already happened. And I believe that's true whether you ask the deck something of the future, past, present, doesn't matter. The deck in the card that you draw is simply reflecting, it's just reflecting a moment that exists, whether or not you draw that card. So when you ask it something and you draw this card, this is telling you a teeny tiny bit about that moment. And you may be able to change that moment, but that's up to you. And that is independent of whether or not you decide to draw the card, in my opinion. So that is why this test is made to test correlation, because this is not a draw the card and it causes B, A causing B kind of situation, as you would test in a normal scientific experiment. This is a B exists whether or not you do A situation. So we are testing if you can know about B from A. We are testing whether or not they associate it. And we have 25% of the time as of right now. And hopefully it will go back up above 29% where it was before. But 17.5 is all you can expect from randomly drawn. So we are above that. Anyhow, that's enough rambling for me today. Thank you so much for being here. And please do press the like and subscribe and come back again soon. I will be drawing up to 100 hands before the end of the year so that we get some good data. And then I'll just decide if I'm going to do some more after that. I haven't yet decided. Thanks for being here and have an awesome day.